Yeah, so let's jump into today's call. I wanted to share a quick win with you that we had at our agency. So, and I do this because, I want everybody to know that this is real, right? This is important. Everything that we're showing you, everything that we're doing, this is all real active stuff. We just got this client, $1,500 SEO client. We're doing everything in our SOPs to get these clients, deliver the services on these clients, and make it all happen, right? So you have access to all this information. And if you have questions on how to, dive deeper on this is the opportunity to do it. And of course, again, Slack is a great place to ask questions as well. But yeah, this was a $1,500 SEO client, and they are in the beauty space. We'll call it beauty space. I think they're a hair salon. They're in the beauty hair salon space. I actually jumped on this one and I closed the deal. I do that from time to time just to make sure that, the leads and the prospecting and all that stuff that's happening by my assistant and our appointment setter are all good. I generally maybe will do like one close a month for the agency. So when I say, I've spent about 10% of my time in the agency, I mean, that's really what it is. I do like one call a month, and I do one major team huddle every month. And then, I will check Slack a couple times a day. That's basically what I do. And so that's the goal for everybody here. That's what we're going to be working towards, right? So, just so everybody knows, whenever we bring in a new client, the biggest, most important thing is this right here, especially with SEO. Setting the proper expectations. Anybody have an experience where you set the wrong expectation for a client that you landed, a search engine optimization client? I bet Richard's done that one. Norm?
Not SEO, but I have done it with social media. And made a real rod for my back. And, I spent a lot of late last year, I spent a lot of time getting out of those clients. And come the new year, I dropped 3 or 4 of them. Because they were taking far too much time. And what I realized was 70% of my week was being spent on low value customers that were returning a few $100s a month. And it just wasn't worth it. And I just had to cut them loose. It's a difficult conversation to have, but I was very lucky that one of them hired someone who wanted to do social media and wanted to start their own agency. And I just went, give them a chance, let a young fella have a go and pass it off. And that was the worst one by far. But the other ones, I've managed to manipulate them into being much higher value social media customers. And so I've got less of them, but they pay more money.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And, one thing that I noticed is as I started to grow my business, my skills got better. I became more of an expert in SEO. In the beginning, I charged a lot lower prices, and it was because I was inexperienced, right? I didn't have a lot of confidence. My abilities to sell my product and knowing what the journey would be for my clients was not very clear, right? But I obviously still wanted to make my mark and get some clients. So, I offer my service maybe, below what most people are offering just to kind of get some wins under my belt, and over time, as you develop those skills, as you get better, then you, of course, will, charge higher fees, right? So that's kind of the way that I progressed. But just circling back to the proper expectations there, if you bring somebody in for AdWords or social media or SEO, like social media, like Richard said, what I like to do is always tell them, underpromise, right? I underpromise. If I'm confident in getting them rankings within 6 months or 3 months, I tell them it's going to take 6 months. So then in 3 months, when we come in with better rankings, they're of course going to be happy. But if something happens and it takes 6 months, they're going to be fine, right? They were expecting that. But if you can do that with, the leads, the ads, the social media, you're going to set yourself up to be just overall happier, right? Your clients aren't going to be upset. They're not going to leave, stuff like that. So that was a process for me to learn. And I think, for a lot of people, just keep it in mind. If you're, talking to people for the first time, setting up those expectations are good. And if you have questions, of course, ask me, right? What kind of expectations can somebody get if we're doing a PPC campaign, right? How many customers are they going to be able to expect? So those are the types of things you want to be able to speak to. And if you can't, again, then, just ask. And so today we're going to be talking about PPC in general. So we'll talk more about that. One other thing that I wanted to share with you that I'm kind of excited about, which is kind of up and coming. I'm testing this myself. So this is an email that I got this morning, which is a funnel that we have set up to try and get new leads, new types of leads. So I've partnered with another company that is in the space of getting mortgage loans for business owners. And part of their lead gen that they're doing, I've got them to add a few questions about marketing on their form. And some of the questions are, are you doing marketing? What's your monthly revenue? Do you have a budget for marketing? Are you interested in getting more customers with marketing? And so, we got this going live yesterday and we're getting lots of leads. You can see this is the screenshot I took this morning. So a few leads every single hour. Some of them, this one at the bottom has a $20,000 to $50,000 a month revenue stream. They've done Google advertising before. They have a budget of $500 to $1,000. Needless to say, what I'm doing right now is I'm testing these leads out. And what I hope to do, if they are good, is set up a process where I can distribute them to more RM members. So on top of the leads that we have going, these might be a little more hot because they've already raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested. And so I just want you all to know that, as RM members, we're always looking to improve. I'm always looking to expand my network and do different things that I can offer all of you to be more successful. So I'm excited to be working on that and kind of be sussing that out right now. Let's see. Okay, so let's jump into our Google AdWords pay-per-click SOP, which I think for a lot of you, you're going to be surprised that there's not a lot of heavy lifting on our end whenever we bring in a Google AdWord client. So does anybody have any Google AdWord clients right now? No? Okay. And one of the reasons that I like Google Ads so much is because we're able to set them up. And once we set them up, we're able to show our clients or our own offer on the first page of Google the same day, right? Day one. So I think that, a lot of the time when I have a discussion with a lead or a client about what they're looking to get out of their marketing, I will ask them, do you need clients right now? Or are you looking to build the foundation of your business? And the answer that they have to that question will give me a good idea of what they're looking for. If they need clients right now, well, then Google Ads is probably a good solution for them because we can set the ads up and start showing them, showing their products to leads very quickly. But SEO, for example, it takes time to implement, right? So if somebody's looking for customers right now and we sell them on SEO because SEO is a great service to sell, and we found out, we saw a YouTube video online and someone's just said to sell SEO, we're selling the wrong product to the wrong person. And it kind of goes back to the expectation thing, right? If their expectations are to get clients from their marketing quickly, then SEO is the wrong product to sell them. You shouldn't sell that to them. So it's your job to figure out, or anyone on your team that's talking with these leads, to figure out what their goals are and what their expectations are. And so I'd say that Google Ads is something that we've been selling more and more lately because there are a lot of businesses out there, especially now, that want more customers right now. Everybody agree with that? They're like, I can hold off on the SEO for right now. Let's go with the Google Ads. We need customers today. So it seems like we've been getting more and more people that that's what they're looking for. And another key thing to make mention about this is oftentimes business owners don't even know that that's what they want, right? We, as the marketing company, we need to figure out what they're looking for, so that's why I asked that question about what your goals are. How quick are you trying to get some wins? Because they don't even know what tools we have available, what services we have available to actually sell them to pair with whatever they're looking for. So it's our job to kind of match the right service with the right lead and their goals. And so, like I said, we've been selling more and more Google AdWords campaigns. And so let me pull up my SOP here. Does anybody have any questions yet thus far? I think we're kind of jamming through this. Cool. Let me pull this up. Okay, so let me kind of.
Sorry, Nick. So with this SOP and how to do it, if I just went straight to Upwork and hired someone to do pay-per-click advertising, and then I took this SOP and just framed it up, just gave it to them, just bang, had them go out there and just do it straight away. Is that what I can do with it?
That's hilarious, Richard. You're so funny. Like I've never done that, but yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, have you tried it? Have you tried it?
Oh, well, I think I'm gonna try it because I haven't got the time to learn another thing and another process and everything else. That I got far too much going on, revenue producing activities. And whilst this is one, this is another part of what I'm going to sell a client. And so I really need this to be something I can just wrap up into some kind of a training side of things. This is how we do it. Here's our standards, everything else. Go to Upwork, hire someone that already knows how to do it, and say, here's the customer, plug it all in, do it, get it done.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I respect your ability to see something and figure out how to optimize the process. I believe I have my job postings that I use to bring in an AdWords person in your members area, and so those postings that I've used, those are still like I still have those people on my team till this day. So those also work because they're still with me, right? So I've given you just the ones that work. This is also a great way to probably go out there and or even just use some of this to make a job posting to get somebody that's going to help you with AdWords. But yeah, I think you're completely right. Like I know very little on how to run a Google AdWords campaign. Nowhere near as extensive as Connor, my AdWords guy, right? And when I made his job posting, my understanding of it was still very little. What I hired for is somebody that had experience and good communication, like with anything else, right? So if he could demonstrate that to me, which he did, then I brought him on to start with one client. And then if things were good, then we'll do another one and another one and another one, and we'll slowly grow more and more and more together, to the point where you have confidence in this person's abilities. When you're speaking with prospects and they want Google AdWords, you're like, no brainer to bring somebody in because you got this rock star behind you helping you fulfill.
Yeah.
So
it's very timely because it was a topic that I was going to talk to you about directly. I've got a prospect, which is a national business, quite a large business. They have 16 franchises in different regions, and I know currently they're spending $3,000 to $5,000 a month on AdWords and PPC and that sort of thing per region. So it's a big customer. It's someone I'm really keen to chase down, and there's a great opportunity to secure them right now. So having to bring someone in to do this immediately is really, really key. And this is the bit that I'm not doing. I'm not doing any PPC. So the rest of the stuff I can handle, but this is going to be the linchpin. So I kind of got to go to them with a lot of confidence and saying, yep, we'll smash it out of the park for you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's relevant and very timely.
Nice. Well, yeah, I hope it's helpful. So just to give you all, like I said, a little more info, my AdWords department, it's like one guy running ads for 20 plus clients. And I also have my project manager who helps, right? That's it. So one PPC person and one project manager. And the way that I pay out the PPC person is based off of the money that's collected. I give them a little percentage each month for the revenue. And that way it's tied to, if he does good, then the clients stay and he makes a little bit more money each month. If he does not good, the clients leave and he makes less money. So his incentives are tied with the success of the client. Does that make sense? And so you might want to consider that too, Richard. I will show you my pricing breakdown with my PPC manager towards the end of this. We're gonna jump through this SOP because it's actually not that big. It's not that long because the heavy lifting is really on him, right? But I have a framework for him to operate in. So let's see. Like all of the SOPs, I'm kind of skip the formalities, right? These beginnings are really designed for if you bring on a new teammate and they're helping you deploy one of these SOPs, they know exactly what they're doing, right? What are we doing? We're setting up a pay-per-click advertising campaign. Why we're doing it? Because these clients are looking to attract more qualified leads quickly, right? So we're doing, like, that was my distinction between SEO and ads. So after the sales call, this is how we get started, right? After the sales call, the onboarding process is completed, which is our service agreement is signed. We've already collected the invoice, like everything else that we always talk about here. None of this starts until we get the first payment. We don't tell Connor, we don't tell our outsourcer that we have a new client or anything until we actually get paid, because there's no point in telling anybody until it's the real thing, right? So we always get paid upfront. As I've always mentioned in all the RM marketing, we get paid $1,000 up front, and then we take a portion of that, and then we bring our contractor in to do the job for us. So we're not using anything out of our pocket. So then we also make sure that we have the credit card saved on file so that the billing, it happens each and every month. This is definitely the type of service that you want to have auto recurring. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're spending money to run the ads and you're not getting paid, because then you could end up overspending and being liable if they cancel, right? So let me break that down a little more. You can, if you want, collect the ad spend money and the management fee, right? So generally when we sell AdWords, we sell a minimum of a $1,500 campaign. So half of that goes to the ad spend and the other half is just to us for management. And we will collect all of it. It doesn't hurt to put more revenue in your business and then spend that money through a credit card and collect points. That's a way that you can double your credit card point collection, right? One of the credit cards that I would recommend to any of you as you grow is the, let me see if I have it here. It's the Gold American Express. And the reason that you use the Gold American Express to run your advertising for yourself and your clients is it's 4 times the points for advertising spend. So every $1 you spend, you get 4 points in the Gold American Express card. And sometimes they fluctuate. It's like, depending on when you get in, it might be 2 for 1, 2 points for every dollar, but that's still really good, right? And that's the only card that I know that actually does that. It's specific for advertising. And so if you're collecting ad spend and you're spending it, you're also getting a lot of points, right? It's how a lot of these marketers, they travel around getting airplane tickets and all that for points all the time. So sometimes you'll find that people just pay you the management fee and they want to put their card on file. That's fine too. But either way, you want your management fee set up to rebill at the same time each month. Because like I said, if the end of the billing cycle happens and you're spending money on those ads and your card is the one on file, then, and then they cancel, then they're not going to pay you, right? So you have to get paid the same time each month. Is that clear to everybody? Does that all make sense? Okay. I know I kind of botched the wording of that, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page with me. Okay. So we're still in the onboarding process. The other part is getting access from all of the assets, right? So when you bring on that new client, Project Manager does all this, by the way, asks for access to their Google Analytics, their Google Ads account, if they have one. If they don't have one, we'll create one for them and then share access to them later. And then what we will do is, at that point, that's the project management side. That's what Adriana is doing on my end. And once she handles all of that, then she will let Connor know that we have a new client. Hey, we have a new client. They're ready to go. Let's build out some campaigns for them. All the onboarding is complete. And Connor will jump in and he already has access to everything he needs, right? He will have all of their accounts and all that stuff. The other thing that we do is we have them fill out the PPC discovery form that's on our website. And that will ask questions like, what kind of keywords are we looking to target? What kind of business do you have? The questions that the PPC manager will need in order to build out their campaigns. But we just have them fill out a form and then he doesn't really need to talk to them anymore. It's that simple. So you all have that form, by the way. If you haven't seen it, it's on my website, but if you have the RM website that we give you, it's also on there. So if you go to my website, at the top of the page, you'll see the Google AdWords discovery form. So this is kind of like the data collection intake that we then give to the PPC manager. And so once he has that, and we tell him we have the new client, we give him the access, we give him the keyword list that we've connected or collected from the intake form, share any specific instructions. Then he will go to work and pull a list of keywords that are relevant to the ones that they've given us that people are searching for. So he will take 5 or 10 keywords and he will turn it into a list of 50 other ones that are also relevant, right? So if you're doing management for like a roofing company, right? Well, they're going to say the keywords that they want you to target are Maui roofing, solar roof panels, I don't know, ceramic shingles and something else, right? So they're going to give you those 5 terms, but there are a lot of other terms out there that people are searching for that are related to those terms that they don't even know about. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to put together this big list. And once he does, we're going to let them know what that list says. And they're going to help us to exclude any keywords that are not relevant for them. So project manager will take that list, give it to them. They'll approve, disapprove. This is done through Google Documents, so they can edit it too at the same time. And then at that point, once they approve those keywords, we'll do the same thing with the actual ad copy. So once he has those keywords, we can come up with an ad, right? More roofing, or $300 off your next roofing job or whatever. That's a shitty roofing special, but something like that, right? You get the picture. He's going to create an ad for the actual offer based off of the keywords we have, and then go to work building the account. That's pretty much it. So for you as the business owner, maybe you helped bring in the client. For a lot of you, I know that's where you're at. Maybe you help bring in the client, but your project management, you might be doing the project management in the beginning too, right? Sending the service agreement, collecting the money. Eventually, you're probably going to have somebody help you with that. But at the very least, all of you should have somebody that can run ads, Google ads for you. And maybe they're not running those ads for you, but you know who they are. You've already posted a job on Upwork. You've started a relationship with them. You told them, I'm working on getting clients. When I do have some clients coming in, would you help me with that? They said yes. And so once you get your client, you're ready to go. You're ready to pair them with that. And like Richard said, you can just give them the SOP as well. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. When the ad campaign goes live and it's been running for a couple days and we have some metrics coming in, we will update them and say, hey, the campaign is live. We've already got 3 bookings for you. Can you confirm that you've seen those come in? And that way, in the beginning, we can make sure that we're doing what we need to do rather than spending a whole bunch of money and figuring out it didn't work and then potentially losing the client. So it's important to check in, right? You want to check in on that. But aside from that, the only other time we really check in is at the end of the month when we give them their monthly reporting, which project manager usually puts together for us. I was putting all the reporting together for myself in the beginning, and then I got a project manager and then showed her how to do it, and then she started doing it. So that's how you kind of scale, right? You might do this in the beginning for the first, couple of clients you have, but if you have 2 clients paying you $1,000 a month, you might allocate a little bit of that to start to bring in a fractional project manager, somebody that spends, 1 hour a day helping you with like reporting or administrative tasks, right? And so that's pretty much it. These other things are just formalities, right? How to send access and all that stuff. But did you all think that fulfilling Google Ads would be that easy? It's actually not too difficult once you have the process, right?
I tend to, excuse me, this is John Smiley. I tend to get in my way and worry about, what about the landing page? Do I need to create a landing page? Sometimes I think I worry more about the deliverables than the client does. And then I feel like I create expectations and questions in their mind about it.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in terms of the landing page, what we will do is the AdWords person is kind of like the expert here, right? They're good at sending ads somewhere. So they're going to be able to tell you like, hey, is the homepage good enough to send ads traffic to? Because that's most of the time for a local business, you send traffic to the homepage, unless the homepage has a lot going on and it's not, optimized for one or just a couple of specific things. Then we will create a landing page for them. I usually have my project manager help with that. But yeah, landing pages are pretty simple for the most part. They are, and I'm glad you asked that, John. I should put together an SOP for landing pages, and I'll do that. But really, the landing page is designed to have whoever lands on it to do one thing, and it's either book a call, fill out a form, or buy, right? And so, yeah, usually we just kind of pair whatever the ad is going to be with that landing page, put some testimonials on it, some pictures of the service or the product, and then either the buy button or whatever it is. And that's pretty much it. It's not, you don't want to overcomplicate it. Less is more most of the time with landing pages.
Thanks.
I'll put together some landing pages that we've created in the past. I can even, let's see. Here's one just to give you an idea. This is a home page that we run traffic to. We run a lot of Google ads to this page, and we built the website, right? So whenever we build websites, we kind of like to make the homepage of a website look a little bit like a landing page to begin with, right? Because later on, if we're going to be running ads to it, it's easy, right? So this page is really about getting them to fill out this quote form, right? Get an instant quote. And, their homepage kind of looks like a landing page, right? Tells them a little bit more about the service, how to get started, step 1, 2, 3, 4, some of their blog articles, and that's about it. Let me pull up my chat because I heard a bunch of questions go off real quick that I want to answer. So Craig says, do clients ever question why the management fee is such a high percentage of what they're spending? Sometimes, Craig, it depends on how you deliver your pricing, right? Generally, I made a change recently from telling them $750 management, $750 ad spend. It's easier to just say it's $1,500. Most people actually don't ask what the ad spend is. They don't really even know what that is. If they do, then we just say, oh yeah, half of that goes to ad spend. And then I've never really had somebody say, well, why is the management fee so high? I've never really had anybody say that, but I've had them say like, well, the price is high, right? That's a common one. The management fee, the way that we break down our pricing for that is once they are at like a $4,000 management fee, then I just run as much ad spend as they want. I try to get them to a $4,000 a month management fee and then just give them unlimited. So what we do is we really incrementally try to increase, like this solar company, for example, we started out at $1,000 a month. And I think now we're at we're at the unlimited, right? $4,000 a month. And so at 1,000, we got them wins and we sent them the monthly reporting. At the end of the month, we're like, all right, look at these results. They're great. Do you want to increase ad spend? We can see that there's room to grow, right? We spent all the money for the ad spend. And would you like to increase the monthly retainer? And they'll say, yeah. And when they do it, and the next month comes around and you do good again, then you offer to increase it again. There's this much more opportunity. So you gradually grow it into the $4,000 mark. And then you just tell them, I'll do it unlimited at $4,000 a month. Lucy, did you cover your charge for management? I'm not sure. I always do though. I'm not sure if you're referring to this client. Barbara says Google ads have changed from PPC and a little more involved now. Yeah, I don't know. Like Barbara, I try not to get too preoccupied with how the ads actually work rather than hiring somebody that is their wheelhouse. I hire somebody that's what they like to do. Like Connor, he loves running ads. He does not like doing project management. He does not like selling people on Google ads, but he likes running the ads. And so, in the hiring process, the talent finding process, that's who you want to find, people that like running the ads, and they will be the ones to stay in front of the innovation rather than you. And essentially, we were talking about, Tom and I were talking about this earlier, as the digital marketers that we are in today's digital age, we're kind of like general contractors. We know the people that do the work in the different realms of the things we sell, and we find those experts and we put them together. And so if someone comes to a general contractor and they want to remodel a house, he's not the guy that's going to go, paint the house or fix the cabinets. He's going to go hire a cabinet guy to come in and do that, right? Just like us, we're going to hire an AdWords guy to come in and do that. So we are kind of like general contractors just for digital marketing. But really, it is a very similar business model. The general contractor just generally knows to kind of speak the lingo, and maybe some of them, were good contractors themselves at some point, and that has helped them to speak a little bit better of the lingo. But generally, they're not doing any of the work at this point. Let's see. Yeah, can send them to a website for special offers. That's good. The recording for this presentation will be in the SOP section, because we kind of went over that SOP there. So let me show you real quick. This is your Remote Millionaires members area, right? And so we have the more life section, stage 4. And this is where we talk about all of the SOPs, the actual execution of the SOPs. So you can see we have, and I've gone over a couple of these twice now, but it's good to get the questions with everybody and the thought-provoking stuff. But yeah, so these are the areas you can see. We have the SOP, the SEO SOP breakdown, the websites, and then I go over the different areas of client getting and stuff like that. But I like to keep going over these SOPs because they keep changing too, as we grow and we get bigger and we refine things. And so we do keep, and we'll keep on going over them. Jen says, do clients ask for expected ROI, and do you ever provide case studies? Yeah, that's a really good question, Jen. I do provide case studies. And even the other thing that I've been doing is Dan still here? Yeah, Dan. Yeah. Let's talk to Dan real quick about that. So Dan, you had a client on the line the other day for Google Ads, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, solar company. Yeah.
Solar?
Yeah.
Okay. And so can you share how, because you asked me for reporting so that I could share a case study, right? Jen, really what I like to use for our case studies are the monthly reports, because we're giving monthly reports to the solar people, right? Well, if you have a solar client on the line, why not use the reporting that you did for a month ago from another solar client, be like, this is what we did for somebody else. We can do it for you. And then what I've been doing is I've been sharing my reporting with all of you to use as your case studies, because I'm showing you how I'm doing the fulfillment, right? So it kind of makes sense. So Dan, maybe you could walk us through what happened there, because I know you asked for the case study the other day.
Okay, yeah. So I'll walk it through. So yeah, what I'm doing with them is a SEO pay-per-click, so that it's before actually sharing what I asked was basically I was concerned about fulfillment. Okay, so it wasn't a case of using it to sell because I already sold it, so I wanted to I went through all the onboarding, and I went through that your pay-per-click SOPs look fantastic. Okay, so then I just wanted to be able to how to communicate and just get the client excited. So I put in like a welcome email. So I just put those stats that you shared with me. And I also shared about, so they talk about social media. So I also shared about the Facebook PPC as well. I put in some stats about that. So yeah, I just waited to hear back from that. And I put a lot in that email. So I put also the onboarding about, getting those questions, the PPC discovery questions. So I put that in the email as well. So hopefully I didn't overwhelm the client, but I put a lot of stuff into that first email, that welcome email.
Did you get the client?
Oh yeah, so this was actually after they paid, right? So that's my so it was really because I just wanted to get them excited and say, look, I've just got this report from my partner, my coach, my mentor, and this is the results I'm getting for the startup company I marry, and this is what, just to get them excited and because I saw, like I say, you were talking about Facebook ads, so I thought I wanted to talk about that as well, because they're talking about doing that in a month or two, doing social media. I thought, well, actually doing the retargeting. I didn't talk about retargeting, but doing, because you talk about that in your reporting. Oh yeah, that's how I used what you sent me.
Okay, good. So did everybody pick that up? There's a really good authority hack there that you can use as being a part of this program, which we kind of set you up in a number of ways, right? Like if you have the website that we've given you, we have some of my portfolio on there in terms of web design clients and stuff. So if you don't have any portfolio pieces, you can use mine, and I'm going to show you how to build the websites. I'm going to show you how to outsource. So we're doing a little bit of a pass-through authority hack there. Same thing with the case study, same thing with the reporting. But Dan also did it and took it to one step further where, maybe in his prospecting, I think it was in the prospecting process, he said, that he's in a coaching program and he's learning from a guy that has a big time solar company in Maui. These are the results that they're getting for them. And he's showing me exactly how he's doing that. And I'm going to do that for you.
I did that with the microblading, actually. Our conversation was about the microblading, that one. So I used that in the prospecting. Yeah, that's what I've used. And I'm still waiting for the prospect to come back on that.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
That was in the microblading.
So does everybody see how that helps to hack your authority though? If you're talking to a company that, maybe a niche that you're not too familiar with, or maybe it's your first client or whatever, you can say something like that. And at that point, on the other end for them, their confidence kind of becomes in me. It splits the risk between putting all of their, chips in one basket with you, but also with me. Well, they got a big time coach showing them how to do this stuff, blah, 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 blah. They're going to do it for me. Maybe I'm getting this at a deal right now. Maybe I'm getting a cheap price for something that's going to turn out to be really, really good. So you can use that. And I encourage you to use that to maybe speak with some clients. Let's see. Craig is asking for the percentage management fee goes to the outsourcer. Yes, Craig, I do have that. One second. So let me pull that up for you here. So this is actually in your SOP deliverables folder too already. It's in the company files, I believe. Yes, it's in the company file section, but let me show it to you, break it down for you. So this is the pricing, right? So the monthly ad budget is for anything that is $500, right? Any kind of ad spend. So when we charge $500 in ad spend, we're automatically assuming that we're charging $500 in a management fee, right? The management fee that I pay to Connor out of that $500 is $195. So I basically make $300 for doing nothing, right? I'm paying him $195 and I take $300, which is a pretty good deal. As it increases, if we're managing $500 to $1,000 in ad spend, he's getting $230 of the management fee. So anywhere in between there, he's getting $230. And then it continues to go up, right? So if we're at, I actually don't use this 10 and 11. I stop it here. This is where at the $5,000 mark, we just manage as much ad spend as they want. And I pay Connor $500. So if we're managing $5,000, Connor makes $500 a month and he hasn't had to do anything, right? Keep in mind, all he has to do is run the ads. He just shows up and I'm like, hey, I got a new client. You going to run these ads? It's a great deal for him, So that's kind of the way that we break that down. And then we do have a one-off onboarding fee. So when we sell a campaign, it's $150 onboarding fee. Sometimes I've kind of communicated with Connor that we don't always charge an onboarding fee, because sometimes we throw it in if they sign up today, but if they do, then I'll give him a portion of it. Maybe I'll give him half, something like that. Does that make sense, everybody? There are a lot of ways, to do your pricing. This is just what has worked for me in a way that I can incentivize my team to be successful, because you can see in this model, right? He wants to keep the clients. If he loses a client, then that's $200 a month, easy. But if he keeps the client, then he gets to keep the client. So he wants to build as much recurring residual as you can. And so as you build and grow your team, keep this stuff in mind, right? You want to try to align your incentives. I also tie a portion of my project manager's income to the percentage of recurring rebills that we have, because as a project manager, it's important for her to make sure that the clients are happy, checking in with them. How's everything going? She's their point of contact, right? If they send an email, I don't get the email, she gets the email. So she has to respond right away. If they leave, then she loses a little bit of that residual income too, right? So I like to try to tie it in, because everybody has the same goal. We all want to keep happy customers. We all want to deliver quality. And if we do that, then we all make a little bit more money.